So I listened to your podcasts in the college the other day. Very good. So I don't have any questions for you. I'm only joking. The guy asked you about where did it start, and then we got well, my parents were paddlers, so they got into it, and Aoife started in Clonmel. But you must have liked it when you started it, Dave. You know.
I remember crying when I had to learn to roll the first time. That was terrifying, but the rest of it was a lot of fun with friends around. Yeah,
Inspiring characters like Billy Brett pushing you along.
Billy Brett, Stephen Happy, Matthew Casson, good few others. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Daryl.
What was it like in Clonmel then?
Yeah, it's mad how much it's taken off, but it already started with Mick Butler in the pool. So I played water polo for a number of years, and Mick was behind the club there, and it was unbelievable. We'd such an amazing group of people, and it ran from like Friday nights with kids. Like I used to coach like 6 and 7 year olds water polo, and then up until Sunday nights where we had adults and that. So it was brilliant, and it was really great, the kind of the community we had down there. And then I don't know how Mick got into it, but he started, because he's the manager in the pool, he started bringing kayaks into the pool down there. And there was just one evening I was like, oh, can I just give that a go? So I then started like going to the kayaking sessions he started kind of creating a club there, and his daughter Baven was very small at the time. Like Baven is now on the Irish team, but she was really, really small. And I think that was something that he kind of had with her and his daughter, and just got more and more and more and more into it. But I left, I was there for about maybe 2 years. And then I came to Galway. And yeah, I just started, Galway is such a hub for it. I actually didn't realise there was an Irish team at all. I didn't really know about freestyle kayaking. I kind of heard about it from being around like people in the Clonmel Kayak Club, but I didn't really know much about it at all. But yeah, the guys had come back from the Euros, Bratislava then. And I was like, oh, this is something that I want to do. Like, I want to be on an Irish team. So I had to decide between water polo and kayaking, because I actually took up water polo up in Galway and did like really well in that with the tribes here. So it was either Irish team with polo or with kayaking. So kayaking just seemed like a lot more fun with traveling and stuff. So I chose that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's two kind of big clubs there that kind of feed into kind of the enthusiasm. David, that wasn't Caroline coming in to tell us about our polo, was it?
No. I'm down in Galway at the moment.
Okay. And you're studying down there now?
I am, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Year.
Yeah, Galway's mad. Like Galway was at the forefront of the freestyle back in the day with Pat Mack and Ali Donald and stuff, and meetings in the Warwick and whatnot, you know. So yeah, it's good out west, and you're obviously keeping that tradition going. So if you're not paddling too long.
I'm not, no. So I am now 26. I started when I was maybe 17. And I could roll coming to Galway, but I still swam in the flat water like in my first week in college. So I was kind of off that level. But I got into whitewater first, and I was like, oh, kind of freestyle, didn't really get into it that much. And then, yeah, I'm not really sure. Like I went out to Ottawa and I worked over there. And I just kind of was seeing like Dave progressing, and I went over to him for like a weekend in Nottingham. And I think just kind of those slow introductions into it, I realized I was like, actually, this is really fun, and it's something that I really want to get like good at. So my love of whitewater is still very much there. But yeah, freestyle is just kind of taken over a bit.
And do you both have any one memory of when you were starting off that like, wow, this is cool, I'm gonna get stuck into this? Or did it just kind of happen?
Definitely on the Nore. I think I was 16 or 17, and like we'd been using polo boats to surf the weirs beforehand, and then we started taking play boats out, and there's a group of 4 or 5 of us, which made it so much fun. I think one or two summers there, we're just like, this is class.
Surfing the Nore, brilliant. What about you, Aoife?
I always remember my first trip to Gower, and it was in first year, and my role, like I swam as well, like I still wasn't very good at it, but I'll never forget that first feeling of surfing a wave. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And I remember like unintentionally doing like a spin or something on the wave and being like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, I don't know why, but Gower was like first feeling, you know, that like rush. I was like, whoa, this is like another side of it that I didn't even know about. So yeah.
Yeah, little hooks that kind of get you buying into it and stuff, you know. I'm going to say a word to you, and then I want your answers or your thoughts. Jacko.
Mentor.
Mentor. Yeah. Anything else?
Very wise.
Very wise. Aoife.
Friend. Guider.
He's pretty brilliant, I have to say.
Calmness, I think, comes from him. When if I sense his presence, it's like calmness for sure.
Yeah, he's the real deal, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had some great results.
Yeah, because he competed when I competed at the first Worlds in Canada. He was there, and then he started coaching the Spanish team, and they started getting in the medals and stuff. So, it's obvious he makes a big difference, or he's a great help. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he's just great, like a bit of a kind of a guide, or like a feedback guide, with someone so calm and collected and very like knowledgeable that when he said something, it's like it's the right thing to say at the right time, and he knows when not to say something, and just the way he does it is quite different to another sport. It's a lot more kind of mentoring and pushing you to learn.
I think like having like a mentor in life is like just to kind of keep you stable as well. I think for me anyway, has been a huge part. And I didn't realize it until being in Europeans that I didn't realize how prepared Jacko had like made like me personally anyway to be in that position. And I kind of mentioned it in like the other interviews and stuff, but it didn't feel foreign, even though that was like my first semis and my first finals. Like being there didn't feel like as if this was new, which is like I think for an athlete really shows how well like their coach prepares them. Because for me it just felt like I was meant to be here, and I had seen myself being here and felt myself being here, which is a bit of a kind of a weird one to say, but for me the whole experience didn't feel foreign at all.
I guess maybe part of it's because you weren't on your own as such. You know, you weren't dealing with everything on your own. You're dealing it with him.
A lot of what he does though is actually a lot more like off water sort of character stuff and helping you with life around the water. And then once all that fits in, it just makes everything so much easier when you're at a competition or paddling, because you're kind of achieving or striving for things in other parts of your life, and just makes you a bit more congruent with your being, kind of, or who you are.
But he does coach on technique, and moves and.
Yeah, no, he does. He's very good at it, but I wouldn't say it's. Well, no, it's very good, but some of the off-water stuff I'd say is really key.
It's 50-50, and then at certain parts of your life, like it might be that, like for me right now, rather than being a technical coach, I wouldn't say Jacko is that for me right now. I'd say that he would be more on the other side, like a mentor in my life right now. Whereas like before Euros in September, it would have been very technical, you know, with regards to skill set. But I think your life changes all the time. It's never the same, you know, that way. So I think, you know, I think he adapts to that really well too.
So you're both working with him all the time?
Yeah, the full time. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
What was the scene like in Paris? Were you camping? Were you in a hotel, or what was the?
We got a house with a few of us together. So like I was living with Dave, and Rory was in and out as well, and Aisling and Dave O'Sullivan and Barry. So it's interesting. It's like I feel like you're constantly learning. Like for me, it was like this is my third event, like ICF event. So you're still learning to try and find that like optimum environment, and it's like you find this balance where it's like you want to be with your friends because the Irish team has an amazing support, and then it gets really hard when you get into finals because, you know, it was only me and Dave left, but then everyone else has to like go out and celebrate their time. So it's really interesting. It's like you feel sometimes like you're alone in it when you get through to finals, but then you're not, you know. it's something, it's been a really interesting experience, and I really enjoyed being with everyone, and really enjoyed being in the house, and it was fun. But then there was times where I was like, oh, people are going out and I want to go out, but I can't, I don't know how to explain it. It's trying to find that like optimum environment for you around a competition is quite hard.
Yeah.
And where you want to be. Yeah. So.
Nice place to be though.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. It was like a different setup than what we were used to. So it was an artificial whitewater course, and it was a pump system. So similar to Cardiff, where you have to like pay for your slot and your time slot, and you only have an hour. So there was only maybe like 3 1-hour sessions, and some days only 2 1-hour sessions. So you can imagine all the European kayakers there. It was really quite challenging to get the times in. Whereas when you go to like Nottingham, let's just say, you can get on for 2 hours if you want, or you can get on for 4 sessions a day if you want. So it's a lot different. So yeah, that was an added challenge. And we got lucky, like Canoeing Ireland was able to help us and fund some sessions for us as well. Just because it was, 20 kayakers in the eddy for 1 hour was quite challenging. Yeah, but we overcame it.
How was Paris for you, Dave? You were there for quite a while.
Yeah, I camped at the start of it with a few Irish guys. I hadn't planned to go so early, but decided it was worth it. And it definitely was just the time without too many people there. It was lovely. It was still like the end of the summer when I got there, so it was pretty nice camping. And then just before we started competing, I hopped in the house with Aoife and the Galway lads. Made it good.
And the course, it's a nice course, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was all right. There was like for playboaters, there was a hole behind. It's not great, but it was lovely. Like nice little run.
And the feature itself, then it looked good.
Very challenging. It kind of flattened out at the bottom, so it's more like freestyle talk. At the bottom, because it flattened out, it made it hard to initiate some moves, and it was almost a little wavy. So plugging for loops and stuff and initiating on moves like nasties and lunars could be quite hard. It was very specific style, so it was challenging for a lot of people.
Okay, because you made it look like pretty easy. Both of you kind of throwing your boats around, And what's next on the calendar? Like Nottingham is only around the corner.
Yeah, very close. I suppose we have Galway Fest and then Hurley Classic and then Nottingham Worlds.
New selections in February as well. Yeah, for Worlds. So
in Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're meant to have nationals on Saturday, the second stage of it, but it doesn't look too promising at the moment with Tuam levels. Hopefully we'll get a bit more rain, but that was meant to be the other one, but we're not really sure yet if it's going to happen or not. Yeah.
And so, what's the plan for Nottingham then? Are you guys going to get over, get some training done, some training camps? Because not that it's a home competition, but it's close enough.
Yeah, it's almost the home world. So the plan is, the reason we're having Nottingham trials is to try and get everyone over there as much as possible, and it's almost the home world. Why not have the trials on a feature, like on the feature already, and then we'll have lots of training camps with the Southeast crew, and the juniors will be over in Nottingham a lot, and then probably spend a month of May and June there. I'm not sure what Aoife's plan is.
Yeah, I finished in April, so I have May and June beforehand as well. So yeah, I haven't really made a plan yet, but it's hard with my degree to get over. So I'm hoping to maybe do a couple of weekends over as well. I think the Worlds feature I find is I really benefit from it when I'm there for a week, because it can be quite challenging, that feature. But yeah, it'll be nice getting over for a month or two beforehand, and then it's the 28th of June, so to the 2nd of July, so still have a bit of time.
Yeah. And will you have to change anything now, because you both have medals, so you're on the radar? Well, Dave, you obviously got 5th before in the Worlds, so does that change things now, because you're big guns now?
No. The Euros was never really the end goal. That was just part of the journey there. The Worlds in Nottingham and the US were always the goal, so nothing really changes.
It's a stepping stone kind of, like yours was always the stepping stone. It's like that first comp back as well after COVID, but it was never seen as like the end goal really. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose like not so much the end goal, but like now you're established athletes and you both have good medals. So does that change? Does that mean you've got to go even harder for Nottingham?
Like an increased expectation, is it, for you to do well, kind of?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think you can think about that, because if you do, then you just let it get into yourself. Like, you just kind of have to be yourself and do your own thing and just trust in the process and put in the most amount of time that you can. I think when you start overthinking things like that and start, caring too much about kind of what the outcome is going to be, then that's where the errors start to come. So I always find, like, for me personally anyway, the best way to do it is like just go with the process, go with every day, and then see what comes with that, and then prepare yourself in the best possible way that you can. But I think when you start overthinking things and overcomplicating things in your mind, then that's when errors start to come. And
Yeah.
For me anyway, I start enjoying it less, and the main reason why I do it is because I love the sport rather than to be putting pressure. I think I have enough pressure in my degree anyway than to be adding pressure with sport. So.
That's the answer to the question, that it doesn't affect you because you have the processes set up and you have a plan and this is how it works for you and stuff, good stuff. Well, like, did you realize the effect that you were having back here and the effect you were having on the rest of the team, particularly the young junior boys and girls?
I think you can see it. Like with the work that Dave is putting, like I think when Dave started really taking off on the scene, he was the first one to do it. And like, I can't but not say that, like, I saw Dave achieving and I'm like, okay, well, if Dave's achieving it from an Irish perspective, then why can't I achieve it? And you see it now with the juniors coming through. It's like, they're literally looking at the senior level. And to be honest, I feel I'm like, oh geez, they're getting really good, then why aren't I getting really good? So it's this constant, even though it feels like as if we're pushing them, it's not necessarily the case. It's they're pushing us too. But you can see it on the scene right now. Like, even I can't wait for Galway Fest this year. Like, I can't wait to see a full set of like Irish juniors there as well as seniors at the event. So it's going to be really exciting. But you can see it. I think it has been coming. I don't think that this has been a staple of it. I think that this is a result of what has been going on and what's been happening. And I think that there's so much more to come in the coming years, which is even more exciting, I think.
What do you think, Dave?
Oh, you've said it all. I hate the juniors. They're so bloody annoying. Trying to coach them is awful. They all know better than me already. But no, like, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because when Len Kelleher won a silver at the Euros, he was paddling a ZG, and we carried him around sort on our shoulders in his boat. So I was trying to imagine what it was going to be like in Paris when you guys got your medals for everybody else. And now Mick Butler obviously portrayed that on the screen with his top hat, but the atmosphere must have been electric.
Like, and even I think people forget as well, we had a kayaker in every discipline in the semi-final. So we had a junior girl, junior boy, we had a C1, we had senior men and senior women. So like, that in itself. So can you imagine, like, that was one man in like a semi-final. We had somebody representing Ireland in every semi-final, which I don't know when that has ever happened. So that also shows that, okay, yeah, we got on the podium that day, but like, there's still kayakers that are on the team that are doing really well and deserve also to be in a final too. So with regards to like the podium, I don't think we all sang Dave was on the podium, and then when the national anthem came on, like, all of our voices are nearly gone. That was by far one of the most incredible feelings ever, us all just standing up there in front of Dave and singing the anthem. And I think that will be something that the team will never forget. That in itself was an incredible feeling. Yeah.
Amazing time. David, well done. I could probably sit here and talk all day. I could get out some more memorabilia that I have here from the old days, but I won't bore you.
Well, before you go, what's congratulations on your role on the Freestyle Committee. ICF Freestyle Committee, what's the role?
That's right. So we were first meeting on Wednesday. So basically, the initial work is really on Nottingham to make sure it's all coming together nicely with Jacko, which I'm sure it is. I know you guys are busy and you've got other meetings to go to. So listen, thanks a million. And we'll see you soon on the water, I hope.